Hey family, how you guys doing? I hope you guys are doing good. I miss you guys. I know it's been a little over a month now since we've seen each other and we've been in each other's presence. But I've been praying for you guys. I've been praying for you this every moment. I know this transition has been very hard, very hard. Um, and I know, excuse that little darkness in the room. Just it's been a very rough quarantine for me. This Easter break has also been a little rough for me. I haven't had a chance. So the reason why I'm recording is this is just in case I don't get to see you guys on Saturday when I'm supposed to be live with you guys. I had to take my mom to the hospital today, but I want to apologize in advance. And I know that I was really excited to be live with you guys, but life has its weird predicaments. But she's doing better now. She's there. She's gonna spend the night, and hopefully we're gonna receive it tomorrow, and then go from there. But she's in God's hands, and she's being taken care of. And I ask that you just pray for her. Please pray for her. She's someone. She's my mom. She's someone that I love and I look up to. But anyways. So, this talk, some of you guys like enjoying my talks. This talk is the prodigal son. So, if you guys aren't familiar, let's read the passage on the prodigal son. Right. So it's Luke 15, verse 11. So the parable on the prodigal and his son and his brother. Then Jesus said, "There was a man whose two sons, the younger of them, said to his father, 'Father, give me the share of the property that will belong to me.' So he divided his property between them. A few days later, the younger son gathered all he had and traveled to a distant country, and there he squandered his property in dissolute in living. When he had spent everything, a severe famine took place throughout that country, and he began to be in need. So he went and hired himself to be one of the citizens of the country, who sent him out to the fields to feed the pigs. He would gladly have filled himself with the pods that pigs were eating, and no one gave him anything. But when he came to himself and said, 'How many of my father's hired hands have bread enough and to spare, but I am here to dying of hunger. I will get up and go to my father, and I will say to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and before you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Treat me like one of the other hired hands.' So he set off and went to his father. But while he was still afar, the father saw him and was filled with compassion. He ran and put his arms around him and kissed him. Then the son said to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and before you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. But the father said to his slaves, Quickly, bring your robe, the best one, put it on him, put a ring on his finger and sandals on his feet. And get the fatted calf and kill it. Let us eat and celebrate, for this son of mine was dead and is alive again. He was lost and he is found.' And they began to celebrate." That's interesting, huh? It's quite a story to know that. Just so, imagine you and your family, right? You and your siblings, and now you're fighting your brothers and sisters because not only did you ask, but you demanded your father to give you what belonged to you. Well, at least what you thought belonged to you. Your inheritance, right? Which we all think that we're going to get one day. But, as he started to realize, so he got his money, whatever his share was, and took off and started to party and get into some bad trouble. Spent all his money. Did you imagine that? Spending all your money, and then you find yourself, you're laying with pigs and other animals, and you're fighting for their food. That's tough. But what's interesting is he came home, right? He accepted what he did. He for a while he didn't. He was being very prideful, right? He was being very prideful of what he had done. He said, I'm not gonna go home. That's just gonna prove to my parents that I can't take care of myself. I'm not a man. I'm not a woman. This is just what's happening. Alright, well, I think after a while he's just like, I can't take this anymore. What am I supposed to do? So he finally ventured and went home and finally realized that he needed his father. He needed to be home with his father. So, what were some things that he realized that he did wrong, right? Well, he took the money that he shouldn't have, right? He betrayed his God, the Father, and then he also betrayed his father, right? But then he came home, and what happened? The father was so happy. I mean, so happy to see him. Like it's just beyond, just full of energy and just full of delight and just full of love. This father could have been like, you know what? Nah, don't you even think about setting foot on this land. Don't you even think about coming to me after what you did to this family. Well, not one negative thing did he say. Gave him a hug, embraced him. I'm sure he said, I love you. Went in, had a huge celebration, and was ecstatic. He was happy to see his son. I mean, happy, like beyond cause, and it was nice, you know, and that just shows you there's just a message in it that, you know, as parents, you know, and as a family, we need to, no matter what, there shouldn't be anything to unite us. Money should never be something that will break our bond because of that. Like it's money, everything. Family is just so much more bigger than that, and I think we fail to realize how much more bigger it really is than us. So we start to see that the father, instead of like with rage, shows love and shows humility and says, you know what? How would I feel? Like, I messed up. I thought I was doing a great thing. And it's like he knew his son was in some type of like distraught, right? It's interesting. So the second part to this story is that remember there's two sons, right? So now his other son was at the field. When he came and approached his house, heard music and dancing, he called out one of the slaves and asked, "What's going on?" He replied, "Your brother has come. Your father has killed the fatted calf, because he has got him back safe and sound." Then he became angry and refused to go in. His father came out and began to plead with him. But he answered his father, "Listen, for all these years I have been working like a slave for you. I have never disobeyed your command. Yet you have never given me even a young goat so that I might celebrate with my friends. But when this your son comes back, who has devoured our property with prostitutes, you killed fatted calf for him?" Then the father said to him, "Son, you're always with me. All that is mine is yours. But we had celebrated and rejoiced because this brothers of yours was dead and he has come to life. He was lost and now he has been found." Oh man. That's so beautiful. That's something that I would do. You know, yes, I would be. At the same time, I think I would be like, all right, let's talk about it. And that's something that my dad would do. It's just so crazy, you know, just to think about it. My dad has always been the type of person, just especially with us, to forgive and just move forward with the idea of knowing that his father wasn't like that with him. His father was a different father to him. So he knew that he needed to be a different father to us. He didn't like to yell at me. Still to this day, my dad doesn't, he yelled at me, it was like once. He spanked us, one time. Like, literally. All the times he kind of gave you a look, you're like, alright, my bad. But for the most part, he gave you this, my father has given this affectionate love that, like, it's crazy and, like, beautiful. Like, it's so genuine, the love that my father has for us. And for me, he's always been so straight up with me, never sugarcoated anything, and always understood, the things that I've done bad, and he's like, dude, I've done worse. Don't worry about it, you're fine. You just gotta learn from it, that's it, and it's always been a very interesting story to know what it is to be able to forgive and to forgive and to be forgiven. Right, for the longest time, I remember, ever since I started practicing my faith, I don't remember a time that I didn't forgive myself for what I did. I didn't forgive myself for the things that I've done. And so to this day, I have a hard time forgiving myself. I do. And that's because you are your biggest challenge. You are what sets the highest bar to yourself. And I think that's a lot of times where we feel like we're not accepted, or we're not worthy enough to people. That's why a lot of times we stay quiet and we stay to us. Especially as a guy, we're taught to be strong and not hold our, and not give out our emotions, but hold on to our emotions, and we're supposed to just push through them, and that's it. But sometimes that's, it's a little more than that. It's about being vulnerable. It's about having that feminine side of your emotions. But forgiving someone has become, I think I speak for myself as well, but I think for some people as well, forgiving someone is a lot more easier than forgiving yourself. And I say that with it just bare open heart, with the understanding that I know sometimes it's easier to forgive other people because you can cut them off and just move forward, and not knowing and not being able to know that, or the idea of not having them in your life anymore. Right? Forgive someone and just move forward, and that's it. But with yourself, you have to live with the actions or the consequences, right? So the things that you do, a lot of times for us, it's very, very extremely, at least for me it is, it's very extremely hard to forgive. But see, I learned one thing, and that's something that, you hear it all the time. You hear it all the time. Is God will forgive you. God forgive you. God has forgiven you, and this and that. But it's you can't bear to think that it's like, man, like, how is someone so mighty and so powerful and so loving that he's just gonna forgive me just like that? No, how? Why? I wouldn't forgive myself for the things that I have done, the things that I've thought of, the things that I will do. This quarantine has definitely taught me something. I hate being quarantined. I hate being locked up at home. But it's what we have to do. This is what we have to live, and it becomes hard for me because I get lost in my thoughts, and I get in this sunken place, and I just get lazy, and I don't want to do anything, and I just get so, like, spiritually unmotivated. But I start to get up, and I just start to move, and I start to think, I'm like, dang, like, I could be doing this, and I could be doing that, and it's a lot of just a lot of, like, just talk, right? And one thing I noticed is just, like, I'm appreciating the moments of being by myself and being present, just with me and God. And I think those moments, I'm just gonna, when things start to shift back into motion in real life, I'm start to realize that I'm gonna miss this quiet moments. I'm gonna miss being able to just sit down and concentrate. Actually, like it's been really quiet. Like it's been really calm, and it's been a new lifestyle that we're trying to adjust to. But this life has been so well, and I hope, brothers and sisters, I hope my family, I hope that you guys are starting to understand, like, we can't take anything for granted anymore. And whatever that is that we need to forgive ourselves for so that we can truly be happy, we need to start doing that and moving forward. We're going to get so stuck. I mean, so stuck in our lives, in our faith, and not advance anything if we don't learn to forgive the things that we've done and for who the person that we are. We need to, one, accept that we're going to sin, that we're going to mess up, that we're going to think of bad things, but we're also going to do good things, think good things, stop sinning. Like, we're going to start doing that at the same time. It's going to be a battle. The closer you get to God, the more the devil wants you. That's just something that I've learned from the beginning. And through this quarantine and my mom being in the hospital, this is just something that I know that the devil's trying to do to me, is that the devil will attack you at your weakest point. And he will hit you harder than you think. I mean, hard. And you don't realize it till you find yourself with pigs, with nothing, and trying to eat food from the ground, or when you don't have food, or when you don't have a job, or you don't have something that you feel like you need. It will hit you so hard. And if the day comes that we've gotten closer to the moment of being quarantined for longer, being locked down for a longer time, and we get so desperate, or something happens, whatever this time from here on out, after this retreat, we experience something that literally almost takes our life away. I hope you guys are in a position where you know that you can be forgiven, or you've forgiven those people that have hurt you. I know it's going to be extremely hard to forgive someone that has hurt you day in and day out. I know, trust me. See, the gospels that we learn, we read and hear in Mass, right? They teach us that we're supposed to be forgiving. We're supposed to be able to learn how to do this. When we learn to forgive, now, see, so here's the thing though. When you forgive someone, you don't necessarily have to be in their lives. Like, you can forgive and just say, you know what? I forgive you for what you've done. I do. I don't want to hold on this, and I don't want to hold this anymore. What's the purpose of holding this? I'm just going to hurt myself more. But I know that it's better for us not to be in each other's lives. Like, that's something that's okay to do. Like, that is genuinely okay to do. But until we learn to forgive ourselves and accept who we are, then we can be at peace. Now, with forgiving ourselves, right? It doesn't genuinely mean that, I'm just, like when you go to confession and stuff or like that, I'm just going to do this and later on just be... No, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't, sinning, right, see, we're going to sin no matter what. And that's the crazy part about it. The whole idea of it is trying not to sin, trying not to mess up, trying to grow from what the mistakes you did. You did it, fine, accept it, move forward. Recognizing those mistakes and accepting it is what changes who you are as a Christian, as a Catholic. That's what makes you a masterpiece to God. Then you can learn to accept who you are and forgive those bad things you did in the past. Whatever it was, whatever it is, whatever you're struggling with, you will overcome it one day, I promise you. There's not something that you used to struggle with. You know, there's always one thing, whatever it is. I know there's thousands of things that we struggle with, but there's always one thing that we used to struggle with, and now it's just like, wow, I used to struggle with that. Like, that sounds dumb, but it was a struggle for you. Now you have a different struggle that you're trying to overcome. It may take a long time. It may not take a long time. We don't know. But until we do, we need to, one, accept who we are and learn to forgive that and move forward and embrace everything we do, just like the Father did in the prodigal son. Because you were dead, right? And now you are reborn. Because you were lost, and now you were found. Forgiveness, it's key. Jesus forgave all of his disciples that disappointed him, betrayed him. All of them. All of them. Even if it was for 10 pieces of silver. Even if it was for not having the idea of going to jail or being crucified right next to him. Jesus knows that we're weak. Jesus knows that we're human. Jesus knows that we sometimes don't have the strength to overcome these things. He knows that. He knows that so well, so much, that he accepts and forgives who we are. And he will continue to do that every single day of our lives. That's why it's important to go to confession. That's why it's important to go to Mass. That's why it's important to be grateful for the things that we have. Sometimes we can be ungrateful for a lot of things that we have. But I think this quarantine has taught us one thing, and it's being very grateful and being very, very, very humble and patient to the things that we, will encounter. We need to start being nicer to each other. I hope that you guys, this retreat is, I know it's different. I was really excited to be with you guys. I know. But I'm still with you guys in God's hand, and in God's heart and in spirit. I'm only one phone call away. Please don't be afraid to text me or anything. Jennifer is here for you guys. We have other youth leaders. We have other young adults that are here for you guys. We have a priest that is here for you guys. I know it's been a little more than a month since we've spoken to each other, but I need you guys, please reach out to us for anything. I know you guys have your families, you guys have your things to do. I understand that. We have families as well, but we are servants of you guys. We are servants of God. We can talk more in depth, and I hope you guys, there's questions, anything that you guys have questions about, please ask us. Forgiveness. We got to start working on that. Okay? This quarantine moment, we're still in the desert. We're still out there trying to fight. Still trying to come home and trying to find our place. But we need to do good. We need to act good. All of us, including myself. Mistakes will happen every single day, and I hope you guys really just learn to accept who you are as a person. Learn who you are. Change your ways. If you don't like who you are, change it. No one else can change it but you. I can't change it for you. God can change it for you, but you have to be able to accept that change. And if it means accepting yourself and forgiving yourself, do it. It took me almost 10 years. Been in the faith. Well, I was, as of 3 years ago, maybe I finally accepted who I was. I forgave myself. And I'm 27. So it took me almost 24, 25 years to finally accept who I was. Please accept who you are. I love you guys. God bless you guys. I will be speaking to you guys this week, and I will check in with you guys. Parents, I'm sorry that this is not in Spanish. I'm going to try to work on something, but if I don't, I'm sorry. If you have any questions, please ask me or Jennifer. Jennifer is your youth coordinator, your youth director. She is my source as well. She is someone that I love, and she is dearly to my heart. And I hope you guys understand that and cherish who you have. And Jennifer is definitely one of those people that you can go to. She may not have the answers for everything. She doesn't. I hope you guys don't expect she does. But she will break down and answer with most truth and honesty as she can. And it's always going to be out of love. It may sound cruel, but it's going to be real. So I hope you guys understand. We love you guys. We accept who you are. Good and bad, we love you guys. God bless you guys. Be safe.